Still within your formative evaluation and revision section, you will then present the findings of your evaluation study and your interpretation. And you're going to organize this section by the evaluation criteria or questions that the book discusses. So you'll include your findings and interpretation for the clarity and feasibility of your materials, for the impact on achievement, and for the impact on attitudes. Regarding clarity and feasibility, on page 325 and 326 you have a discussion there that gives you some ideas about thinking of the clarity and feasibility of your materials, instructional materials, documents, and anything that you will include in your workshop. And so what we want you to do here is that you use a table to present your findings along with the proposed changes based on your findings. So your first column is going to have each one of the components of your instructional design, and then the problems that were identified. And so for example here, maybe for the entry skills test, you notice that there were unclear instructions in the pre-test. Students had difficulty consistently with item number 3, and then maybe for the presentation materials, maybe a high ability student did not understand illustration number whichever, and then maybe students spend too much time in activity number 1. Then you list your proposed changes. So based on those problems, what are you going to do about them? How to fix them? Well, maybe for some changes I have to replace the word circle for whatever, something else. And maybe here I need to examine the item analysis data to determine if blah blah blah, whatever's relevant. Maybe if only one student had difficulty understanding an illustration, maybe I can't do anything right now because I don't have enough data, I need more data, whatever. And for example, if students spend too much time doing something, then maybe I can reduce the number of items on this section. And then finally you include your evidence and source. So where or how did you learn this, that there was a problem? So for example, you were observing the student and they did something that I realized that there was a problem here, or maybe the student just voiced it, maybe they requested for clarification or something like that. Customize the table as needed. So if you did not include an entry skills test, of course you can get rid of that row. You don't have to include it in your clarity and feasibility section. Then comes the findings on your impact on achievement. And so you're going to have a separate table where you list each of the learners, and remember that 6 is the required number. And you're going to include your pretest score results. You can use a number, percentage, or whichever way you want to present it. The same for post-test scores. And then the learning time, how much time they spent going through your materials. Once you have that information, you're going to look at that data and you're going to see whether, well, any low scores can be due to faulty test questions or items, or maybe it is that there's faulty instruction. And you will recommend changes appropriately. So based on those problems you spot, what needs to happen next. Again, customize the table as needed. If you did not have a pre-test, there's no need to have that column there. Then comes the presentation of your findings regarding impact on attitudes, and here you can choose to present the findings in narrative format or in table format or in chart format, whichever way it's easiest or you feel it's more appropriate for your project. And then once you present the data, again, what do we do about it? What changes need to happen based on what we found? And that is, if necessary. If there are no changes, you just basically go out and celebrate because you made a perfect instructional design.